definition laminates. It's really great. And cool. Get stuff looking very nice.
That's all we will take.
I priced, it was.
If you can get like less than that, scrap like smaller pieces, fields, like we do it so we wanted to chat with them and see so if they were we would be so such a small number. They can get provide the parking or did he give you any advice on 1 versus 2 garages? I mean that's a difference. So you're already
Looking forward to
this little
warmer.
And then they can direct them to
that's a thing that get over the you know. This was our first car. We're going to start small.
I was looking around for your dad.
How long was this?
Anyway, oh yeah, there.
Well,
right, 85 minutes or you were in line.
I sat down in the
I don't know why the jackets are still there. All right, thanks everyone for coming. Great. Thanks for coming. We're going to get right into our agenda here, which I'm sorry cuts off at the bottom, but I promise there's more. So we'll just go ahead and start with police. Detective, if you have any updates for us.
Well, for you that don't know me, I'm Detective King with the Salt Lake City Police Department, and just going over some of the crime stats. Some of the stuff was a lot better than it has been. A lot of the vehicle thefts for District 4 has gone down. Some of the other areas it still kind of goes up, and it's surprising. There's still a lot of people that are leaving vehicles running in the mornings to keep warm, and I know a lot of the patrol have been calling out with our dispatch and going and talking with those people. It's still a big issue that we have. This area, it's down a little bit, but it's something we still need to keep up on. Salt Lake City does have an ordinance against idling, so if you can, try not to idle cars and make sure you're not leaving your car unattended. It seems like a lot of the thefts and that have been down a little bit this month. And again, I've said in the past, and I just reiterate, if you have serial numbers, get serial numbers, so that'll help us out. Computers, especially guns, anything that has a serial number, that helps us out, because if it gets taken to a pawn shop, then that gets entered and we can track that. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yes.
We had evidently a stabbing in our neighborhood Monday, about 3rd East, 1st and 2nd South. I've never heard anything more about that. Do you know anything about it?
What was the address again?
It's about 140, 150 South on 3rd East.
Okay.
There was taped off, crime scene was there, somebody was out there, and they were washing blood off the sidewalk, I guess.
I do remember that. I think that they do know who they are, but I don't think they've been able to find them yet.
So we didn't take anybody into custody?
Not that day, not that I'm aware of.
Oh.
So we know who they are. We're still looking for them. It's still an active investigation.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything else? Anything you guys have? If you guys have questions, if you have anything that you think is might be beneficial to the police department, feel free to contact me at any time. If you get onto Salt Lake City's website, you can find me under the CIU, or you can reach me at CIU District 4 at slcgov.com, and my phone number is is 801-799-3624. Feel free to get a hold of me. If I don't answer right away, I will get back to you. Just let me know what you're calling about, and I'll see what I can do to help you guys out. All right?
Great, thank you. We have some folks from the fire department here. Want to come on up?
Hello everybody, thanks for having us. So for those of you who don't know, we're from Station 1. We work on Engine 1. In the back we have Battalion Chief Paulson, our Captain Matt Davey, our Engineer Tyler Frederickson, and Paramedic Darren Baker. My name is Chad Daly. So I'll just talk to you a little bit about the happenings and what happens at the fire department. For those of you who don't know, we have a new chief. Chief Lee was just appointed as chief last month. We're excited to have him. He seems like he has a really good vision for the fire department. And with him came a new executive staff. So we have a new deputy chief, Rusty McMicken, a new assistant chief in Carl Stedman, and then Claire Baldwin is still an assistant chief. So that makes up our administrative head of the fire department. It sounds like they have really good communication with the mayor. They're meeting regularly and talking. And I've also been told that 2 city council members have been assigned to each of those executive members. So there's good communication going on between community councils and executive members. So if there's any issues within the fire department or anything that needs to be passed along, that's happening quickly now. A little bit about programs in progress. Station 3, Station 14, logistics, those are all going well. Station 14 is the furthest along, and according to our logistics captain, that's going very well. No problems or hiccups with it. They're going to start building Station 3 and the logistics building this spring/summer. So, we also have a mobile health program that it's been going for a long time, but the mayor's excited about it in helping with the problems with the homeless and it becoming more involved in that. So I don't know exactly what the vision is, but the vision is that's going to become more involved with the homeless problems and try and, on the fire department's end, be involved in that. We also have an active shooter policy, which was developed a couple years ago. So anytime we have these horrific events go on, when we have someone, you read across the nation out actively shooting people, we've written a policy within the fire department where we get together with the police department and we're we're a unified command together and we're going and helping these people as quickly as we can. That has gone statewide. Our policy is going to be moved statewide and everyone's going to be using our policy. Thanks to Captain Crandall, for those of you that know him. He's an expert in this type of thing. He's really helped us build this policy, but that is also going out to other fire departments in the state. So Salt Lake City's kind of heading that up, which is kind of cool. Really quick, our run totals for Station 1. This past year, we ran 3,554 calls. So it's about 10 calls a day at Station 1. For the total fire department, we run 93.43 calls a day. So that's the amount of calls we're running a day. And then just a quick health concern is the next few days we have very unhealthy air. So if you're jogging in it, you have kids in it, maybe you should use the treadmill for a bit. And don't burn any open fires, don't burn your fireplace. Try and be cognizant of the air quality. Do you guys have any questions for the fire department?
Yeah, I don't know if you know about the specific state statutes require around open burning, but I had a fire pit where it was burning propane. Is that legal, do you know?
I think, yeah, so you would still need to be 25 feet away from your house. But as far as it's designed to burn propane like a barbecue, then I'm pretty sure those are okay. Do you guys have any input on those?
If it's open burning, I think there's a county statute that actually might be on that paper there.
Okay.
If you look on the back of what you have.
And you're talking about just during the bad air right now.
Yeah, during the no burn days.
The way I understand no burn days is it's charcoal and solid wood burning, but let's look at it.
In the box there.
Yeah, solid fuel burning devices must not be used.
Gotcha.
So I think it's like natural gas and propane, those don't quite qualify for it.
Great.
Okay. Any other questions?
I just wanted to say thank you to the fire department. I am a Cub Master for a Cub Pack, and I came out a couple of months ago to our 30 boys, and they loved them. They really had a great time with the people that put on all the gear and everything. It was really fun, and then they handed out little helmets to the kids, and it was wonderful. Thank you so very much. You made a really great impression on the kids.
You're welcome. We love doing that. And if there's no other questions, then any of you can feel free to stop by the station at any time. Does everyone know where Station 1 is? It's on 52nd South in the southeast corner of the intersection. But any of you can stop by anytime. We'll give you a tour. If you have kids, we'll show them the engine, and we'll give them little helmets. So.
Well, not kids. What about
You have a little helmet.
Alright.
Yep. We have pink and black ones. Anything else? No? All right. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I saw Representative Briscoe. You want to come on up?
Representative Romero, Senator West. I promised I would tell you that she anticipates her testing a red kit bill to be heard at the end of this week or next week. So what affects Salt Lake City? Here's what affects Salt Lake City. The House Natural Resources Committee just removed the prohibitions on driving legal ATV vehicles on streets on the county's class. I don't know. Apparently there's a 6-mile section of road that goes in and out of Tooele County. And make it legal for ATV people on that road, please. I would know, and so I'm not really sure my constituents want to see ATVs on 1300 East or 600 South or South Temple. So we'll. Lynn Pace came and Patrick Reimer from the county and the Natural Resources Committee is full of a bunch of people from rural areas. I'm driving legal ATV in an average. Colville is not. I don't think that should happen in Salt Lake City.
So did it pass already?
Out of rural resources, so it goes to the floor house. What else affects Salt Lake City?
We did have a question on Facebook. I don't know if you're the best person to ask, but what can we do to help our local refugees, Muslim neighbors in the Central City area?
I've been to the mosque on Friday afternoons before the session. I've been down to sit in the back and worship with them, to show them my solidarity with them. Pray? I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, you got great ideas, let me know.
There's a meeting on Friday at 7:30 at the Somali Mosque on, I think it's 1755 Southwest Temple, that will be open to the public if you'd like to.
It's not at the Khadija Mosque in West Valley?
No.
Okay.
What's the legislature's response to the quote Muslim ban, etc.? What are you hearing out there?
Not a lot.
Okay.
I'm not seeing any legislation on it. I've had private conversations with legislators, know that they're not all really keen on the president. Here's what I want to do. If I can carve out some time for my intern, I want to pull out the names of everyone Republican who signed the Utah Compact 6 years ago and ask them if they meant it. Because if they meant it, and if they really believe that families should be kept together, and they really believe that immigrants have been essential to the economic vitality of this city, state, and country, etc., then how can you support this? You cannot. Exports crap. What else? Education funds is a huge deal because of Prosperity 2020, Chamber of Commerce, and that thread. So there's a couple of different threads going on here. One thread is legislative fiscal analyst says, they're just sort of they don't really intend to go through with putting an increase in income tax on the ballot. They're just threatening the legislature to pay attention. They just want the legislature to do something. I know some people working for our schools now. I know some people have been some state superintendents, et cetera, superintendents of local school districts. They're not bluffing. They intend to do this. On the other side of the equation, a Republican legislator at the UEA who told me, they said, oh my gosh, look at the UEA. They got their state school board people elected. If we don't do something seriously this session, oh my heck, they're going to put that on ballot and they're going to pass it. I believe they'll do it. I'm going to test it. I'm putting together a bill that's going to put a lot of money and see if they'll vote for it by doing all the things Howard Stevenson says we should consider bringing in. We'll see. Representative Chavez Houck. Cindy, you had your wave in your hand.
Yeah, so any updates on the foolishness going on with solar in terms of the tax?
Yesterday, In rev and tax, we passed out, Brian King and I were the only no votes, we passed out a bill to phase out over 5 years or 6 years the solar tax credit. So we'll go down $200 the state solar tax credit. I voted no. The Solar Industry Association negotiated still, thinking it was the best thing they could get. I voted no because, come on over. I voted no because they said it takes money out of public education. Yeah, it does. But they vote for all kinds of other bills that take money out of public education. They say, Briscoe, you got to vote for this because eventually this tax credit is going to help an industry that's going to put more money back in. I find them highly selective in which bills they support and which bills they don't. Here's my other issue. Worldwide, tax credits, tax breaks help to dig out of the ground, produce, refine fossil fuels between $775 million and $1 trillion. When you want to throw in the cost of wars, hospitalizations, ill health, all the other effects we have from fossil fuel use, International Monetary Fund estimates $5.3 trillion. Simply helping them get it out of the ground and produce it, $444 billion. Renewable energy, $100 billion. I'm willing to vote to get rid of tax credits on solar and all that other stuff as soon as we get rid of all the tax credits and all the breaks for oil and everything else. Iowa, state of Iowa, 30% of their energy, electrical energy, comes from wind. This state can 30% of its energy from solar. We're getting 8% of our energy in this state comes from renewables, 73% from lawn. We need to do something to help people in our memory counties. We need to help them some of the 20 old days. We need to do some stuff, invest, some job training, some transition. But we're going to be mining coal for a long time. It's less and less, and if I have my way, less. I'm running a carbon tax bill this year, put a tax on carbon, and provide them an incentive to save.
Still on the sort of the federal overreach concern, another question on Facebook.
Us? Federal overreach? Really?
Yeah. Should Hispanics in Utah with green cards be concerned? I have friends that are here legally and they're concerned.
So I will say that is up in the air right now. Since the president's executive order has been enjoined in a number of courts, I think right now people should feel relatively safe. What I would do is encourage people to contact the ACLU. They have some really good points in terms of folks keeping themselves safe. I think within, Salt Lake County and Salt Lake City, certainly people should be fine. And I think really within the state they should be okay. It has been advised to individuals not to leave the country if they are legal resident aliens or in process. And if I were in that circumstance, I wouldn't leave. I'd stay put, which is sad. But I think we're in a real dangerous state of flux. So for the time being, I would encourage people to stay put. And again, contact the ACLU if they have any concerns. The Mexican consulate and the various international consulates that are here also have some good advice there. So we're trying not to alarm people, but I think people just need to have a certain level of caution in terms of the way they
I was asked before you got here if we were picking it from our colleagues across the aisle what they were thinking about the immigration order. I don't know of any legislation or anything else like that.
I don't think they want to touch this with the 10-foot pole at present anyway. I know that that would be with immigration. In terms of the refugees, I know last year after the San Bernardino shooting, a couple of my colleagues got a little antsy and were asking a lot of questions from DWS and refugee services about what the process is for taking care of people in this community as they're resettled in the refugee relocation centers. But I haven't gotten I've not heard any rumbling. Or sometimes what you'll get is weird questions in committee, especially with social service, because that's where that funding comes to them. I just haven't heard anybody bring that up at all, so I think they're not really getting involved. They've got other things they want to worry about right now.
Are there any pending legislation relating to watershed issues?
As in,
Impact Salt Lake?
oh, yes,
Yeah.
so.
Robinson thing.
Yeah.
I stayed very, very close to that issue, and the member of City Council, George Chapman. Where is he? He's at every other meeting I go to. He's not here. Oh, shoot. So George told me.
Busy at the Capitol.
George, he's at the Capitol.
He's been up at the Capitol.
Oh, he's been up there too. Now he's another one of us. I love George. He's a great guy.
Look it up.
But he gave me the names of 3 legislators he thought were talking about running legislation.
Okay.
And he said, oh, he's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. The city has got a phalanx of government relations people that are helping them on this issue. They better keep their hands off. Both mayors have been very adamant, and Mayor Skutsky and Mayor McAdams said, stay away.
And I would think, and I would hope, anyway, I can't speak with this having been shared with me, I would think that the Utah League of Cities and Towns,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a precedence issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there would be some caution for messing with that type of autonomy on the local front. So that would be my take on it, but so we're trying to be everyone.
We've been warned by people who are very knowledgeable on the Hill to watch out for shenanigans. We saw one this week when someone ran a bill on something to do with telehealth, and the last 4 lines of the bill had something about abortion. So we we can't just go by the title. We have a staying line to see what they're doing.
I'm going to pass this around. If people aren't already receiving my weekly newsletter, you can put your information on there. And I'll also send around my cards as well as the legislative website card so that you can follow what we do.
Great. Thank you.
There's another thing really quickly too, is I brought extra copies of my newsletter as well as my legislative survey that I'll leave. The legislative survey is available online, but I do also have hard copies if you want to mail it to me. How many of you prefer to have a hard copy that you would mail versus doing online? Oh good, then you won't get out envelopes. We'll just pass out around the survey so that they can have that, see what it is, and then copies of the newsletter. Just really quickly, some of the issues that were, I sit on social services appropriations. Notably, the issue of the homeless and making sure that we fund everything that we had promised to fund last year, the year before, is paramount. I know that I received some petitions and information from constituents in other areas of the city asking us to withhold our funding until they feel that their concerns have been addressed related to the siting of those locations. I will tell you that my colleagues in the Republican leadership are not inclined to, they want to move forward. They want to move forward, and the speaker was very clear in his comments first day of the session is if the city and the county can't come to some consensus on how that will be implemented, then the legislature will take over and we'll put them wherever we want to put them. So that's been, the gauntlet has been thrown down, and they want the issue remedied now. My colleagues do, my Republican colleagues do. So I understand people's concerns, but there is very little appetite for delay on moving forward with the siting of the resource centers, and moving forward with that progression in terms of service delivery. And the intention is to fund that services in the siting. Yes, Dita?
Has anyone taken, on your committee, are you taking into consideration what might happen with housing money and other social service funding from the federal?
Oh, from federal?
Yeah.
So it's
really how that impacts what the state contribution is.
You know, we haven't discussed that yet. Next week we've been talking about base budget this week, which is stuff that we've spent, and having the agencies provide reports on how they utilized money that we appropriated last year. Next week we'll be talking about moving forward. I know one thing that was really heartening was we passed the state affordable housing plan Representative Edwards and Senator Weiler's proposal, and that's gone through. It's already gone through both houses. It is on its way to the governor's desk for signing. So that's heartening that we're moving forward in that direction to be proactive in terms of thinking about citing and that. So so there's that piece. But in terms of what role federal funding, I mean, and then again, that's just, everything is kind of up in the air with the feds right now. So, of course, they've appropriated for the year, so we get whatever is in the queue presently, and what happens next year is probably the thing we need to look to.
Great.
But there we go. Anyway, email, and you know where to find me, and take a look at the newsletter. You can sign up for my newsletter by sending me an email. And my intern Kayla Watanabe from USC will be happy to take care of you. Always prefer to get emails or texts, please. Avoid trying to call me on the phone because it just fills up my voicemail box, and then other people can't call in. So emails or texts are preferred. Thanks.
Thank you. Soren, you can just do 1 minute. Go back up here. Soren Song's got a quick announcement before we move on.
Thank you. I know I'm not on the agenda. Just very quickly, I'm working currently with a relatively new neighbor called the Other Side Academy. They are a addiction recovery program. They're located in the former historic Armstrong Mansion, which was most recently a bed and breakfast. They began operation there about a year and a half ago. We're now working through a conditional use petition that will allow them to expand their facility. And so in conjunction with that, we have an open house scheduled this coming Saturday from noon to 1. We invite any members of the community who are not familiar with the work that they're doing. This ties in very directly with the homeless and drug addiction crisis going on in the Rio Grande district, because they're currently serving 50 people that have come off the streets and out of incarceration. And they're doing really amazing work. I'd love to share what they're doing with you if you have an interest. Come out Saturday noon to 1 at the Armstrong Mansion, which is 700 East, First South. We have a tentative date in front of the Planning Commission of March the 8th. So if you have any additional questions, comments, or interest in this project, we invite you to follow along.
Great, thank you. We'll post that information. Sorry, we don't really have time. But we'll post that information on our website, and I'm sure as this process continues, we'll have you back for a more in-depth review. So, Dan, Cowboy?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chris Zarek.
Ooh, the light's hitting that, so that we can't move it, your feet some way.
Probably forward. Yeah,
Maybe we change the
No.
lights.
that's better.
No, try
Tilting it like that.
Oh, yeah.
Just tilting it vertically.
Do that. See what we can do here.
It's just a glare. Hey, Greg,
Done?
you just the lights.
All right.
Ooh, we're having.
Well, before I put us into dark, I'll have a
Forward.
Okay.
If you bring about 4 feet forward in front of the light.
So this is the media room. I have to have the ridiculously bright lights. And it's very difficult when you're up there to see anyone.
That works.
Is that any better? There we go. All right. Well, bring me a little closer here. We'll get to know each other. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to talk about the Violence Will Common project. My name is Chris Zarek. I am with Form Development. We're working with Dan Loftman Cowboy Partners on this project. The concept that you see on the boards illustrated here was our response to the city's RFP for what was known as the Northwest Pipeline Building, the old public safety building on 200 South and 3rd East, and it responds to the program and some of the elements that they outlined that they wanted to see there. And I think that that particular RFP was produced as part of a process with the community, kind of understanding what people wanted to see at this site. And the way that we approached the project as we were putting together the design and the concept here was really coming at it from a placemaking perspective. The very name of the project, Violin School Common, is our attempt to really make a nod to the violin school and Peter Prier and what everyone knows that particular area and neighborhood for. It's been such an anchor there, and it is really a landmark. And so we decided to honestly tap into that character. And it really the concept really is anchored and begins with the public common. There's a half acre of public space to this particular concept and to the site. And the common we have is to be programmed throughout the year, open to the public, activated by commercial uses and public uses on the ground floor. Of course, we're dealing with the Metropolitan building, which is existing and designed how it is, but the new buildings that we'll be creating will have businesses and commercial and glass and public uses at that ground level. So bordering the Violin School Common are 3 buildings that comprise all the program for the site. What was the old public safety building, before that the Northwest Pipeline building, will become the Metropolitan. We are doing a historic rehabilitation on that building and creating 74 market rate apartments. And we're very excited for, the building was really the first attraction to the particular project. We have a lot of admiration for that building. It's a beautiful building. It's actually wonderfully resolved. It has great lines. We're excited about what we can do with some rehabilitation and really bringing that thing back to life. To the east is Liberty Uptown, which is a 109 apartment mixed income project. It is wrapping parking structure that will be serving the site and the Metropolitan and Liberty Uptown, so that we're putting that to the back corner, but keeping the built space and the active uses to the public space. And then the Magnolia, which is a 65-unit supportive housing building. All of them then framing the total public spaces. So Violin School Common is on 200 South. We're introducing Arnold Place, which is a historic little mid-block street that was in the site and is still listed on county records. So we're reintroducing that as our access to the parking structure, but then also creating a pedestrian experience along that street. It's intended that we'll be able to shut down Arnold Place and have food truck evenings and street festivals, neighborhood festivals, that kind of programming throughout the year. Within ground levels, we have 5,500 square feet of commercial space slated for the Metropolitan, 4,500 square feet of commercial and public spaces for Liberty Uptown, and 1,500 square feet of commercial and social enterprise space for the Magnolia. And with that, I think, right now we are moving through the process with the city. I think you can see some of our visualizations that were done as part of the RFP process, what we're intending to build there. We're proud of the design and the project as it's come together. And really the emphasis for all of it is to, create a neighborhood place, neighborhood spaces, and an anchor for that part of the city and that part of the community here. So with that, I have the questions.
Do you know how many parking places you're going to have per unit of the rentals, the apartments?
1.2.
And do you know how many bedrooms there'll be?
I mean, the total mix, as in the totality for the entire project, how many bedrooms there will be?
Yeah.
I can get that. We have that breakdown.
Per unit?
Right. There's a mix of studio units, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. The the majority of the metropolitan, the 74 units, are one-bedroom units, and that really has to do with the uniqueness of the floor plates. For the metropolitan, one of the things that we, it is a fairly small floor plate actually, and where the corridors are leads us to fairly unique unit sizes. There'll be a little bit greater mix of two bedrooms in Liberty Town, and I believe that we have 30 two-bedroom units in Liberty Uptown. The metropolitan, will have 15 studios, 44 one-bedrooms, and 15 two-bedrooms.
I'm sorry, 15 studios, 44 one, and
15 two-bedrooms.
15 two.
So 89 bedrooms altogether in the metropolitan, and Liberty Uptown then would be 130 plus about 157, 107.
Subsidized housing, and so then this management to supervise people.
Yes, so both Liberty Uptown and the Magnolia will have income-targeted units that will be affordable for a range of incomes, ranging from 25% of the area median income up to 60. The permanent supportive housing will have case management specifically for the residents, the people renting and living in studios. There will be no services for anyone other than the residents who live in that particular building.
I'm just concerned because we live across the street.
Sure. So, one of the things that we like to point out is within the mixed income buildings that, specifically Cowboy Partners has done around downtown and around the city, there are units, permanent supportive housing units and units that serve, these populations and these tenants with case management, and, they are populations that, in unit types that exist within projects and within the community right now, and I think they have been very successful in running very tight projects.
So we heard there might be a problem with the tax credit that was going to help fund the permanent supported housing. Is that an issue?
Well, no, one of the things that we found, and this is something that we as a community and as a state probably have to address, but one of the things that we have found is that the Housing Corporation's scoring system for tax credits tends to score higher for mixed income transit-oriented projects, and in a lot of ways that makes sense. There's been a lot of emphasis on those type of projects. They've had a lot of stakeholders who have been involved in promoting that and making sure that that's recognized within the scoring system. And permanent supportive housing and a project specifically devoted to that is not something that really has been addressed as well in the scoring system. And so I think that is, as we've been starting to tackle the financing for this project, it's one of the things that we've come to understand is something that we have to deal with, and we've had a lot of discussions with the Utah Housing Corporation about making sure that's addressed.
Michael, there's an office supply company, I don't remember which one it is, that has the easy button. You remember that?
State controls.
Thank you. For the Magnolia, 9% tax credits was the easy button. Because of the several things in the scoring system that really make it impossible for the Magnolia to get tax credits, as it turns out. It's a steeper hill, no doubt, but we are not one iota diminished in terms of our commitment to put it together. It will come together.
First of all, a comment and then a couple questions.
Sure.
My biggest fear about the project was that the successful bidder would mess up the Northwest Pipeline building. And my second biggest fear was that it would be treated as an afterthought, not the keystone of the project, and would not remain the prominent building in the complex. You have taken care of both of those. Thank you very, very much.
Cindy, if you don't like it, his name is Chris Cesar.
No, you know, the development pattern in this city is for the prominent buildings to be on the corner. It's hard for people to understand that because it's been so eroded throughout Central City and the downtown, but this maintains the prominent building on the corner, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Second, where does the name Magnolia come from? Because the other names, I mean, you must have copyright on Liberty, and Metropolitan makes it, but I'm just struggling with Magnolia. They don't grow well here.
You know,
They don't.
we have to spend a lot of time going through names, and the Magnolia specifically, one of the things we really liked about Central City and the neighborhood around this particular site were all of the smaller scaled, you know, vintage 20s and 30s apartment buildings with Peter Pan and you know, and it was really kind of an homage to those projects.
So it wasn't on any of the three-story walk-ups that were already out there. So, okay. And then I'm assuming that you're going after tax credits on the Metropolitan building since it is a National Register site. Okay, great. Thank you.
This is just a comment, and it's something that, you know, in a lot of the larger scale developments that we haven't seen, but that's the creation of spaces, not just buildings. And commend you for creating a public space integrated within a project. It's something that I'd like to see more of. And mid-block walkways. I mean, everyone's excited about mid-block walkways in Salt Lake. So, yeah.
So where are the people going to come into the parking structure, and is there going to be a lot of traffic jams in that area? You got two ways coming out of the parking area.
Sure. So the main entrance to the parking structure is going to be on Arnold Place. So you can see there is, you know, quite a bit of run. You can, it's, you know, intentionally we certainly never want to make the garage door the front door to our project, and so we put it, you know, deep within the project. But what you see here at the end of Arnold Place is the entry, main entry into the parking garage, underneath this connector right here. So this is going to be the main entrance in and out. You know, our assumption would be with, you know, as far as traffic jams, we recognize that, you know, we have a divided street here. It has parking in the middle. There's going to be a specific way that people are going to be traveling to this particular entrance, but we have a long run here for people to get in and out and back up within a particular project. We are working with, you know, if you know the site well, you know that there is a grade change and there is access to the rear. So one of the things we have been really holding out and you know, as part of our programming for the site is the use of our place for street festivals, and so we want to create a second entrance and a secondary entrance and egress on the back and north side of the garage. So that too can be accessed and served to hopefully reduce.
And there is city parcels.
Correct. Yeah, it's not something that's down to public parcels. There's public space.
Probably one or two more questions.
Yeah, in an open area, open space, which is going to be great. For the residents that will be staying there, will there be locked entries to get into the building, or will it be, can they go in, or will they have a code to get in, to go to their places? And also, second thing, is there going to be room for like storage?
Are you talking about one of the projects particularly, or or all of them?
Yeah, well, all of them really.
All of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
all of them.
Sure. So
Just concerned about the security.
There is, as Chris noted, space on the lower level of each of those. That's normal business operating hours, in and out. You know, it's a cafe, coffee shop sort of thing. To move from, but to move into the building on the residential levels will be restricted access. And we do that everywhere now. One of the unique attributes of the Metropolitan building, it's got this huge, useless basement. It's going to be storage all you want. we could put a moving company in the basement there. In 38, there will be a large storage area, but each apartment has a small pantry storage room, and there will be a few storage lockers. I'll tell you my sad story. Down at Little Gateway, I built about 80 storage lockers. Guess how many of these? I'm running them for $10 a month.
Oh my
At least about 17 of them.
Really? Oh my goodness.
They're just not utilized in those urban units. So there will be.
have a few more people leasing them.
Yes. Sorry, you got to be arrested. Now, if you want to come rent an apartment, there will be some storage available based on our experience in the market, more than what is needed. But access to the residential floors will be controlled.
One more question.
That public space, what is meant by public? Like, who owns the space? Who manages, who can use it, and how it's used?
So the space will be owned and managed by the project, by the buildings, by Cowboy and Form. We will have public hours, that will be where those spaces will be open to the public. I think there will be evening hours, there will be certain hours where, the use of those spaces will be somewhat controlled. We don't want to have a fireworks display at 2 in the morning outside of our residence stores, for instance. So, the spaces, though, will be open to the public. That's part of our commitment to the city. During those extended hours, they will be both programmed but open for people under and use as they would in public space.
And that's not all just gratuitous. It's not just, oh boy, we're excited to have a bunch of strangers on the square, right? Keep in mind, on the ground floor of all those buildings is public commercial space. I want y'all coming, eating pancakes and having coffee and everything else at the restaurants and coffee shops and things that will be in that space. So we hope it's a positive feedback sort of thing where that becomes a very animated space and that in turn supports those commercial areas.
And that energy is important. It's not just important to the commercial spaces. It's important to the projects and residents. I mean, that's the energy and the animation that people want to be around and live near. It is important.
Real quick.
Are there going to be any security cameras around there on that public space, or security provided for the buildings?
There will, the security measures that we take are not something we publish a long list of. But there will be security cameras, absolutely. That's a matter of routine for us today. Active security, you won't see uniformed patrols there. There will be people in the evenings aware of what's happening on the property.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
I want an apartment in the
I know the video quality isn't great on Facebook, so we
with a view
post
toward the
images
west
on
edge.
our website and Facebook. So people can take a look and submit comments that we can pass along. Come on up.
Yeah, the way there's
Next up on our agenda is Seven Canyons Trust. Oh yeah. Actually, while we're getting that set up, Hildy, if you want to come up real quick. I forgot to put the mayor's office on the agenda. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. So mine will be short and sweet. So good evening. My name is Hildegard Koenig. I am the community liaison with the Salt Lake City Mayor's Office, District 2 and 4. First of all, I want to give you an update. It's really sad for me to say, but I was given an opportunity through the Utah Office of Victims of Crime And so I have taken that opportunity. So my last day with the mayor's office will be next Friday. And I will be working on human trafficking issues, victims of crime and reservations, all that statewide and nationally. So it was just an opportunity I couldn't. You will still see me. I will be across the street from the police department. That's where my office will be at. Please know my door was open. In regards to the mayor's office, I wanted to let you know, first of all, the mayor has, the office has created these notes for Jackie that you are welcome to write any concerns. You're welcome to mail and provide them to me. Information you can send to her directly. I'll leave this in here and you guys can and then tomorrow, February 2nd, there's the mayor's going to be having a lunch of the Society for Affordable Housing since 2000, and it is an initiative to design help in the gap in regards to low housing. So it will be a kindergarten senior living at 1790 Southwest Temple. So everyone is invited to attend the first information in regards to that. And then also tomorrow from 7, they will be having a final public open house for the Foothill Drive Corridor. I can't say that in English, corridor. So I apologize. So they're all going to be, it's going to be a Hillside Middle School on 1825 South Nevada Street. So we like to have the public input. In regards to the homeless resource centers, we are still with the 4 locations. Those are set, and we are going to continue public engagement. Will continue happening, and we will be notified from that. Any questions for me? Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you for everything. We appreciate it.
I'll leave this one to you.
Great.
So as I mentioned, my name is Brian Tonetti, and I am the Executive Director and founder of the 17-Inch Trust. Our mission is to daylight and rehabilitate the 7 canyons of Utah's Wasatch Range, restoring beauty and health to the hydrology of Salt Lake Valley. We were actually started out of a University of Utah course taught by Stephen Goldsmith, and we were given this idea with the ultimate goal of creating a visioning document, which we entitled 100 Years of Daylighting. So looking at a 100-year time scale. And there's a Roman proverb that I really like that sort of describes this. It goes, "A society grows great when wise men or women plant trees in whose shade they shall sit." This actually won a Utah American Planning Association award for outstanding achievement, and this spurred the creation of our organization in that we had this award-winning plan, so why not create an organization to implement it. In 1995, a public-private partnership between Salt Lake City and the LDS Church carved a creek channel into a former surface parking lot, turning gray to green. City Creek was allowed to pool again, bringing in people and plants and wildlife. People come here to celebrate, to get married, or just to relax. So, what is daylight? Daylighting is defined as the uncovering of buried urban waters, bringing them back to the surface and restoring the natural channel to the city. Some of the benefits, nutrient retention. So this is the idea of basically uncovering the creek and allowing a nexus for the surface water, the creek water, to basically infiltrate into the ground. And all those nutrients from our lawn fertilizers, those can get soaked up by the creekside and the bankside vegetation. Flood mitigation. Daylit creek channels are better able, to fluctuate with increased flows through the and the rough creek people towards it, and businesses want to locate toward these beautiful areas. And these projects have potential to also increase property values adjacent. And then recreation opportunities. So east-west creeks create excellent connection between our really awesome north-to-south trails, the Jordan River Parkway and the Little Shoreline Trail, but we don't really have anything to connect us east-west. And a multitude of access to nature, mitigation of urban heat island effect, and again, just creating these beautiful places. So, by a show of hands, how many of you think that there is less than 10 miles of buried creek throughout the city? Or the valley, excuse me. Nobody? 1? 10 to 20? A few more? More than 20. The majority of you. You guys are good. There's actually more than 21 miles of buried creek, according to our calculations. So, within the Central City neighborhood, both Red Butte and Emigration run through sort of your outer boundary. Red Butte is actually the third most buried creek in the system, with a little more than 3 miles of its creek channel buried. Emigration is second, with almost 5 miles of the creek channel buried. Zooming in on that outer boundary, Red Butte comes in to the neighborhood on that outer edge, in between Yale and Princeton, heading south, where a portion of it goes into Liberty Ponds, a portion of it continues to actually meet Emigration, which comes through Herman Frank Park, you see there, and then they both meet at the corner. And head down 13 south, all the way to the Jordan River, where we are working on a project called the Three Creeks Confluence. So this is the combined confluence of 3 urban creeks, Red Butte, Emigration, and Parley's Creeks, and the Jordan River. And we're working with Salt Lake City, the Jordan River Commission, and many other stakeholders to daylight this 200-foot confluence. Marking the first time that residents see water here since the 1983 floods. And prior to that, at the turn of the 20th century, when these creeks were buried. This project actually started out in our 100 years of daylighting visioning documents, and we sent it to former Councilman Kyle Amalfa in 2014, and he really championed it and pushed it through the city. We have finished with the first phase of the project, the visioning and design phase. So, first design, you can see here, funding secured, and another $1,000 or so funding, which so potentially will be a project on the ground within a few years. And then the other project we're working on, a little bit outside of the neighborhood, but just right on the cusp, Herman Franks Park. And Emigration Creek actually runs under this park. You guys may know it as the dog park or the baseball field. This red line actually aligns other creek as it runs through that large baseball there. This project started out in a Westminster Environmental Studies group walk where they were exploring Emigration Creek and the hydrology, where it's above ground on their campus to where it goes below ground just outside of their campus, and then following that underground creek on houses, road right-of-ways, and then through a park, Herman Franks Park. And this park really excited them for the potential to daylight Emigration Creek through the perimeter of the park. So we're looking at the buffer between the ball fields and the road. If you're familiar, sort of just a grassy Kentucky bluegrass area. So they were really excited and started strategizing for opportunities to do community engagement to sort of raise awareness for this project, which brings us to the process we're going through now. We actually received and were chosen for a quarterly pro bono project from a local landscape architect firm called Bach Landscape Architecture, and they're donating their services to help us design this project. And then a very generous donation from excuse me, the Frank Family Foundation, the namesake of the park, is helping us do our community engagement process. So we've since held 2 community design trips, which are basically just workshops. First, to discuss sort of broader themes of the project, and then the second, to sort of gather feedback on specific design elements. So we've had probably about 100 or so comments to sift through, and have been actually quite surprised by the engagement in the project. I won't touch on all of the elements of the concepts, but I'll briefly touch on some of the more exciting stuff. This is design concept 1. So we have 2 design concepts.